Yeah, so the price. There's two things obviously that determine the price, and that's really a general thing on most things that get traded. There's the technicals, and then there's the fundamentals. So just talking about the fundamentals, if somebody owns Bitcoin, and then suddenly the government comes out and says we're banning it, of course they're going to want to get rid of their Bitcoin at any cost, and that's why the price goes down. So one of the biggest issues right now is regulatory uncertainty, gray zones that make people very itchy, like a trigger finger. As soon as there's bad news, get rid of it. As soon as there's good news, quickly buy it. And because the market cap is so small, I mean, really, it's only $200 or so billion. I mean, that's tiny. The price can really be affected by these little stories that come up, and like the China stories, the banning of Bitcoin, or at least the regulating of Bitcoin. They didn't say they're going to ban it. And then obviously the technicals. A lot of people again are kind of using technical trading 101, and so they've got all their patterns that they look out for, and oh look, it's broken resistance, it's going to probably pump, and people are doing a lot of trading. So right now institutional investors aren't really involved in the space. It's mostly just hacks, guys who are just taking a punt. And so obviously the technical trading, Bitcoin I always think of as this kind of perfect technical kind of trading tool, because it seems to follow all the textbook technical trade patterns. But certainly the fundamentals, the stories, the issues. If somebody comes out and says, a big merchant says, "Oh, we're accepting Bitcoin like Pick and Pay," boom, people are gonna be like, "Whoa, if Pick and Pay is accepting it, that's a big deal." So definitely, both issues come into play: the fundamentals, like China and all that, and the technicals as well. As with any asset, but it's such a small market. It's such a tiny little asset that gets traded that a small amount of news can make a big difference, and that unfortunately that's why it's so volatile. But as more and more people get these currencies, and as the market grows in terms of who's holding, I think what we are in at the moment right now with an asset like this that is new and we're all getting becoming aware of, is that we're going through this kind of hyper deflationary stage. I think it's called. I think that would be the correct term. Where over a short amount of time, when money is deflationary, it means that it grows in value enormously. When it hyperinflates, when it inflates, it loses value. So what we are doing now is, because it's new and there's a few amount of Bitcoins out there in the world and people are starting to get into it. We're having these, the more and more people get into it, the price is just going higher and higher and higher. But I think it's not just an exponential curve that's going to reach the moon. I think the curve is more like an S curve, where we're going to go through this exponential growth, and then eventually it's going to kind of peter out, and we're going to kind of reach some sort of equilibrium where it'll be like sort of the market cap of gold, which is $6 trillion or so. Right now, Bitcoin's market cap is about $0.3 trillion. If it's $300 billion. So I think that when Bitcoin, maybe not Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin Cash, but certainly one of these cryptocurrencies reaches the market cap as significant as gold, or maybe even M0, M4, one of those money supply metrics, then we're going to start seeing a much more stable currency. But we are all in this very interesting time right now where it's this new asset class that's just being created that we're just all discovering. And every one of us, you might think that 150,000 Rand or whatever it is a Bitcoin, we've missed the boat. I think that's a joke. I think R1 million Bitcoin is certainly possible in the next few years, within the next 5 years. So that's the kind of phase we're in right now.